Today we're exploring a forgotten hotel complex that once tried to be everything at once. A place to rest, to train, to meet. Long before the decay, this site began as a health facility for a nearby factory. For a while, it even hosted a children's camp. Later, it was rebuilt into a full hotel. Conference hall, restaurant, tennis courts, a fitness room, sauna with a pool, and a nightclub for long evenings. Then the lights went out. About 2 decades ago, the doors closed and the territory started to fade into silence. Let's walk through what's left piece by piece and try to read the past in the ruins. This complex includes 2 large basements, but we'll get to them later. The first section appears to have been the conference and dining area. All that's left are bare walls and collapsed structures, fragments of once busy spaces now overtaken by decay. Further ahead lies the residential wing, with rooms where guests once stayed. But before we go there, let's take a look at one of the basements. It seems there might have been a small service elevator here, perhaps used to send food from the kitchen below up to the restaurant. The walls are covered in old tiles, and several ventilation shafts run through the ceiling. As I'll find out later, there's even a separate exit leading outside. Most likely, this really was the hotel's kitchen area. And here it is, that exit from the basement. The first section of the complex is done. Now it's time to move toward the residential part, a large 3-story structure with rooms on each floor and another basement below. The first floor is cleared. Let's head to the second. Even the walls between the rooms are starting to crumble. From here, there's a passage leading to the third and final building on the territory, but that exploration will come later. I know that most of what's left here are just bare concrete walls and ruins, but I still check every room. Sometimes you can find traces of the past or pieces of graffiti that give the place a strange kind of life. Here, vegetation has even started to grow through the floor, slowly taking over what was once a living space. Time to head up to the third floor. There's even an access point to the roof, but the improvised ladder made from a window frame with shards of glass still sticking out doesn't look very trustworthy. Another interesting thing, it seems the entire corridor ceiling on the third floor was once covered with mirrors. Some fragments are still hanging in place, while the rest now crunch quietly underfoot with every step. The main thing here is not to get hit by falling glass. Now the third floor is done. Let's move through the passage connecting this building to the next one on the second floor. I'm heading toward a separate structure that once housed a sauna, a small pool, and a nightclub. A place for events and late-night celebrations when the hotel was still alive. The staircase to the second floor has already collapsed, so it's a good thing I decided to explore this part right now. Only the basement of this building remains. The first thing I realized after descending here is that this place is home to quite a few bats. You can't really see them on camera, but you can hear the faint flutter of their wings somewhere in the darkness. It's a strange underground space. Hard to say what it was used for. Among the piles of bricks and debris, I found a narrow passageway, barely a meter high, where you have to crouch just to move forward. The exit is blocked by old car tires, but through the gaps you can see daylight, so it clearly leads outside. Still, it's hard to imagine what purpose this tunnel served. The bats keep circling above my head, as if guarding their territory. A bit further on, I discovered another odd ventilation shaft leading out to the surface. And this corridor surprised me the most. You'll see why in a moment. I followed it for quite a distance, walking almost doubled over, only to find a solid wall at the end. A dead end. Now the basement is fully explored. Only one building remains. That's the place with old sofa in basement. I'd already visited its second floor earlier, but the first floor wasn't accessible before. The staircase had collapsed. This room was most likely part of the club area. According to some sources, there used to be a small nightclub here for events and recreation. Nearby, there was also a sauna with a pool. Nothing but ruins now, but you can still feel the traces of what it once was. Apparently, there's also a tennis court somewhere nearby, but I learned about it only later. I didn't notice it during my visit. That wraps up the exploration of this abandoned hotel complex. If you enjoyed the video, consider subscribing to the channel. There are still plenty of forgotten places ahead, and I plan to explore them all.